What's going on, everyone? So apparently on Instagram, something happened. I lost my connection. It just ended the live video. So I'm just gonna do the live video here on Facebook, and then I'm actually gonna save it and then upload it on IGTV, so you can still watch it on Instagram if you want. But I really just want to. I'm gonna be really fired up here. So I'm gonna explain a little bit of what happened. You guys may have seen my post. But I'm at the gym and I'm watching. The cool thing about the gym is they have a bunch of TVs and no sound, so you can never hear the negative stuff that the media has going on. But I see this thing come across and it's talking about the flu, right? And specifically here in the state of Kentucky, last year we're at like 100 something, like 129 or 179, somewhere in there. And this year we're at 829 or something like that. And this medical expert, they interviewed her, comes on and says the reason for the spike is because more people are getting diagnosed this year. More people are going to the doctor and getting diagnosed. And I'm like what? Like, how does that make sense? Like, you're telling me the same amount of sick people from last year are still in this state, but they're just getting diagnosed now? So how successful is what you're doing to treat the flu, even if you're at the same number as last year? You're not making any progress. But that's not the case at all. It's actually getting worse. That's why more people keep going to the doctors, as you clearly stated. The saddest thing of it all is there's over 300 deaths in the state of Kentucky just to the flu. The worst part about that to me is the fact that there's pediatrics and infants in that statistic. That's 300 people that lost their lives because of the flu. And my heart really bleeds for those families because they put their trust into doctors and medical professionals to provide them with the best information for them and their family to make the best choice for their health. And they put that trust in them, and these people aren't doing their homework. They don't understand what actually health is and what promotes health. They're just worried about the pennies they make by promoting certain medications and vaccines. And it's really, really frustrating to me that 300 people lost their lives because of this, because it's something that could have been prevented. And specifically with the flu vaccine, and it's like, to me, it's like, have we gotten any closer? Like in the past 5 years, have we gotten any closer to curing the flu? Absolutely not. Yet everyone's, get your flu shot. You got to get your flu shot, right? And statistically, it shows that 50 to 60% of the flu shots are quote unquote successful, right? And you know what's funny is these research studies where these statistics come from, on average, are 90-day studies. So they're only done over a 3-month period of time. So guess what that means? That right now, when people get their flu shots, they're actually the study. Like, we're in the middle of the study because they've never done a long-term study. Like, oh, no one got the flu within 3 months. Amazing, it works. Let's go give it to everyone. That's literally what's happening. And then what's even more crazy is the fact that, specifically talking about vaccines, like today, like the schedule, I think we're up to 72 now vaccines that are on the schedule. By the kid's first birthday, they've received from anywhere, if they followed the schedule, from 25 to 35 vaccines. 25 to 35 by their first birthday, right? And what's crazy about those studies is they don't study those vaccines together. So they don't study, for example, if we did like the flu vaccine with the polio vaccine, whatever. You could take any random two. They don't study them together. They study them separately. So don't see what effects happen when you administer vaccines so close together with each other. And then we're putting that in our children. And what's crazy too is with the vaccine schedule, it actually tripled after the year of 1986. Why is 1986 so important? Is because Congress passed this Liability Act. And I'll actually post some information on this below the video. If I don't, shoot me a comment and I'll send it to you. And so Congress passed this thing called the Liability Act, which actually takes liability off of the doctors that are administering these vaccines. So that's like a real head scratcher. It's like, what? They're not even liable? And then all of a sudden we see triple the recommendations. Heck, we're not liable. Might as well make a profit off of it. The pharma and specifically vaccines is $1 billion industry. But like, think about this. They're not liable. So here's my thing. If vaccines are so stinking good, why not hold doctors liable for them? And they're like, because it's the company's fault, right? But here's the thing. If you, the doctor, if you're willing to step up and say, I will be liable because I believe this is the best for people to get well, if you're doing that, then then you better make sure that vaccine is going to help someone, because if it doesn't, you're going to be taken to court. And once doctors start going to court, guess what? They're not going to be administering vaccines because they don't work. And then guess what? It goes back again to the companies that make them, and they're going to have to either start producing a better product, a safer product, or they're going to have to ban them altogether. And, I really want to share this with you all because it's so, so important. When people are losing their lives, that's where I get my passion. Vaccines, it's your choice. Whether you want to have them or not, it's your choice. You're an American citizen. That is your choice. It's American right. It is part of being an American. It is your choice to do it. It shouldn't be something that's mandated on people. And I just want to encourage you all, too, that now statistically, too, we're seeing an increase. We've seen an increase in mortality rate for infants. We've seen an increase in 55% of children being born have a chronic illness. We're seeing the most medicated group of individuals, like our life expectancy now has been on the decrease for the past 3 years, where our children are actually predicted to live less than we are. Like, that's pretty crazy if you really think about it. And then I was reading another article too, that on average, after the age of 50, the average American is on 15 different medications. So is the metric of health in this country based off of whose medicine cabinet's the fullest? And that's what I want to encourage people to do. Take a good look at how we measure health. What is the true metric of health? Because if we look at our actions, specifically in the United States, we start taking more and more and more and more medications. And we know that that's not the metric of health. We don't look at someone that's taking 15 medications and be like, oh, can't wait to be that healthy when I'm taking 15 medications, right? But look what our actions do. It happens over years. We start taking more and more and more. And all of a sudden we wonder how we get into this mess, how we're born with all these different dysfunctions, how this stuff starts to happen. It's because we're actually doing it to ourselves. We're the only species, specifically in this country, that are willingly and knowingly killing themselves. Like, think about it. That's the truth. And I want to share this message. The reason I share it with such fire, such passion, is the fact that I cannot stand that people are losing their lives because of this. And what I truly believe is people can become educated, receive the proper information on what they're actually getting in healthcare, they will make the informed decision to make the best choice for them and their family. You should never be feared into making a decision. If someone fears you into making a decision, they probably don't know what they're giving you or what they're trying to do to you is actually in your best interest. If they can't sit down and actually explain how the body works and how this is going to somehow help the body heal, right? Like, specifically moms, like, I hope you can attest to this. You carried around beautiful children for 9 months. You took them from 2 cells, and they grew up to be approximately 37.2 trillion cells. Life expresses intelligence. When you hold that baby, it is born perfect. It is born perfect with the innate capacity to self-heal and self-regulate. Sometimes that needs to be unlocked. And all that happens through the nervous system. It holds your 37.2 trillion cells, gives them the exact nutrients they need, and the exact message with the exact proper function that it needs. The only thing that can happen that leads people are like, well, then how do you get sick or disease? Is when there's an obstruction in that communication from your brain to those cells. That's the cause of disease. And if we can focus on promoting health instead of this big battle of fighting sickness that's gotten this country sicker and sicker and sicker, over time, we're really going to start to see a change. We're really going to start to bring healthcare, I should say. We're still a change in the sick care system, and we'll actually bring healthcare to this wonderful, wonderful country. I hope you all have a great Saturday. I know the playoffs are on. I hope that there are some good games because I'll be watching. But I hope this helps you all. I hope you all can understand where I'm coming from. I just want, if one person can just hear this message and think real quickly about their health and how they look at health and start to make a better decision so they don't become one of these statistics, it'll be totally worth getting on here every single day. And that is truly my passion of why I get on podcasts. That's why I get on Instagram. It's why I get on YouTube, IGTV. It's why I'm on Facebook. Is really just to educate people. And it's tough. It's tough when you know how you can help people, but they're brought up in this system that has taught them to get sicker and sicker and sicker. And then only when their health is barely hanging on are they willing to listen and try to take a different approach, the true and correct approach to health, which is promoting health by promoting the best function in your body. Your body is more than capable of fighting off the flu. I can tell you from firsthand, I was brought up in the medical model until about age 22. For the past 5 years, I have taken 0 medications. I've been vaccinated 0 times. If I get sick, it's roughly 16 hours, and it's like it never happened because my body can recognize that something is not normal. It will attack. It'll raise the body temperature, which is great, right? So strep dies off around 99 degrees. So when you get a fever, it's a good thing. You don't want to lower it because you're actually killing it off if it's strep. And then you have all these different things that you can start to do. So you have all this mucus, all this stuff that's clogging up, trying to catch all the bad stuff that's coming in. And then when you have a runny nose, when you're sneezing, even diarrhea, as bad as it sounds, coughing, throwing up, your body is expelling that out of you. So it's a health response, not a sick response when those things happen. And that's where we need to get our mindset. We don't need to go take NyQuil, DayQuil, Z-Quil, whatever Quil. Your body is going to respond, it's going to adapt, and it's going to be better. And it'll have more immunity as life goes on, which is amazing. Your body is so stinking amazing. If anyone tells you different, you come talk to me and I'll tell you how amazing your body is and how perfectly and wonderfully and fearfully your body was designed and how you can live in health and healing. You all have a wonderful day, and I hope that helps. I hope that wasn't too much fire for y'all, but I'm really, really passionate about making this country healthy and making sure that people don't become a statistic.